And now some words from our sponsor that you don't understand and I can't pronounce. Flap, pustule, jowls, nugget, gurgle, smear, curd, bulbous, bulbous, bulbous. What is it?
It's bulbous.
Bulbous. Tender, dongle, pork, and moist. Whether you're a construction worker, warehouse worker, or, frankly, a radio host, if you hear certain words on the job site, work can be uncomfortable. So, at least get work gear that's comfortable. Timberland Pro work shirts, pants, and boots, head to toe. Timberland Pro, not uncomfortable.
Spearfishing has or will strike your business, wreaking havoc on your employees, brand, and your bottom line. Spearfishing can't be stopped by traditional email security solutions because messages appear to be legitimate from your boss, a trusted colleague, or a vendor asking you to wire money, confirm login credentials, or worse. Barracuda Sentinel is artificial intelligence for real-time spearfishing and cyber fraud defense. Reclaim your email in minutes with zero impact on network performance. Visit barracuda.com/AI.
Greg Cote has gained weight more than he ever has, and he's embarking on a journey to lose 25 pounds.
Yeah, I'm serious, too. It's gotten out of control.
Well, the hard part is going to be the beers in the garage at the end of the night.
Yeah.
I've told you for years that if you just cut those out, those would be something that would allow you to lose weight.
But that's the best part of your day, is it not?
It certainly caps it off, that's for sure. But, it's all beer weight because I actually have a pretty fast metabolism. I have thin wrists. I mean, I'm not a heavy guy naturally, but, man, I'm over 200 pounds now for the first time ever.
Are you willing to cut out beer?
I am willing to greatly reduce my intake.
Okay, so no is my answer. No is the answer. The answer to my question is no.
Right. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm trying to lose 20 pounds.
How did it feel when you stepped on the scale the first time and you realized you were north of 200?
Defeated. I mean, because that was always a litmus test. That was always a hard line in the sand. It's like I'm never going to get to 200. And when I did, and now all of a sudden, you wake up and you're 206. I mean, it's out of control. Perhaps some in the listening audience can relate to what I'm going through.
The only exercise he gets is walking his dog in the front yard, and he claims that to be exercise. Because I'm like, you need to get out and walk once a day. And he's just like, I do. I walk the dog.
Yeah. No, I do.
That counts.
Chris, wait until you see. It doesn't count. And
What do you
wait
mean?
until you see, Chris, what happens. Their yard. Do you take them around the neighborhood, or is it just in your yard?
I walk the length of my sidewalk and back. Probably the equivalent of a 100-yard hike. But, we can't all afford a personal trainer
you
like
don't need
Levitar,
a personal trainer. Just walk around your neighborhood, and you could afford it. That's the other thing, you cheapskate.
Well,
you could afford it. Your wife
say
makes so much money. You don't make anything because newspapers are dying. Click on Greg Cote's column, MiamiHerald.com. MiamiHerald.com.
Clicks for Cote.
Clicks for Cote. Is there a new one? What's the new one? I understand that you've what was the latest written by Greg Cote?
I had a Sunday column about the sadness of watching Tiger and Phil at the Masters. Although Tiger did end up on an upbeat by shooting his first round in the 60s in a while, but
you wrote a sad column.
I wrote a
sad column about mortality.
I did.
All right,
I do that a lot.
Guillermo, you've been doing that lately. Yes, It speaks to where you are in life.
Right.
I know. I remember I pinned one of those on Michael Jordan in China. Like, you must be really struggling with middle age. I wrote, thinking only of myself.
Exactly. Right.
Writing about you.
You must be. It must be really hard to be. If it's hard to be me in middle age, it must be really hard to be you. You'll never again be as good as you used to be.
I do find I'm writing more and more from a psychiatrist's couch. Just
well,
sort of
Billy, do you have any good ideas for? Can we do like a poetry reading? Is there somebody reads Greg Cote's column? I don't know what the funniest voice is. Is it his son doing it? Is it Roy doing it? Is it Allison doing it? Is it you doing it?
So you want someone reading Greg's column every time he comes in?
I not every time. I want to see if there's something funny here. Last week, with an assortment of noises and bells and whistles, we read a portion of Greg Cote's David Shula column.
Yes.
On the air. The quotes were terrible in that column. The Shulas are notoriously bad quotes. David, the worst of them.
Should we ask Myra to read it?
Oh, my God. That's
she has
funny.
a nice voice.
That is a funny idea, man.
Well, I mean, I don't think she'd do it, or she'll get nervous, so she won't make this efficient.
Well,
all right, you want to try her?
Yeah, try us. We could have a casting call today See who's the most talented off-air personality.
You know what? This is what we should do. There you go. Everyone who is in the other room, call them over one at a time to read a paragraph of Greg Cote's column, and we'll see who the best one is. I'm voting right. Early front runner is Arnaldo. Arnaldo will be the best of the.
I'm going Bruce.
Not nice.
I have an even better idea. Instead of people on the show reading the column, how about readers actually read the column? What a novel idea that
we're
would.
trying to sell the column,
Yes,
and
yes,
we're telling
yes.
people, readers, don't listen to his begging. What you need to do for Greg Cote to keep his career alive at the Miami Herald is you need to click on that column.
Right.
You don't need to read it if you don't want to.
And we're selling that idea by having people make fun of it by reading it, and everybody's laughing, even though it's a very serious column.
Yes,
How about this?
About mortality.
I think it's all the
more than
funnier
reality.
if we have just a random assortment of people in
Go for it.
accents
Yep.
reading a paragraph of a mortality column.
Why don't we do this? We can print out the column and we can black out like every other sentence. So if they want to get the full column, they have to go online and read it. So they're only going to get portions of the
Good.
column.
That's
So
a
we
good.
have to fill in the
That's
blanks.
good.
Well,
Nice.
geez,
That's
yeah.
good producing, Billy.
So
A little
then
negotiation.
What's read makes no sense.
It will make no sense, right?
Right.
Oh, now you want both?
Right.
Wait a minute. Wait. Let's,
Wait a minute,
no,
Greg, you leave them
please.
wanting more,
No, please,
Greg.
please help us figure out what's the right way to promote your newspaper
Okay,
column
here,
from Sunday.
No, I have the
please,
perfect idea.
Please help us do this.
Right. I have the perfect idea. We black out all of the vowels and just read the column only in consonants. How about that?
All right, what's going on out there, Guillermo? Are you setting that up right now as we speak? Is there something? It might be a terrible idea. I'm fully willing to retreat from the idea if it's a terrible idea.
The wheels are in motion. We'll find out together if it's a terrible idea.
Allison, it's a terrible idea. Greg Cote wants people to read his column.
Correct.
That's what Greg
Imagine
Cote
that.
wants.
Yep.
Imagine that.
Wait, Greg, so I could just click on it and just let it sit here, right? Is there a certain amount of time? Like, is there time spent reading or any?
I mean, all
like
that's quantified nowadays.
Okay.
If somebody spends like a minute and a half on the column, they might actually have read it. It is a big investment. I'm asking people to invest like 90 seconds out of their day. So
I actually like Guillermo's idea because I'm reading it right now, and if you go every other sentence, it's going to leave you wanting more.
Look,
Thank you.
Cote is not satisfied. This is unbelievable. Cody's not satisfied with the way we're promoting his column. He's now
That's not
retreating.
true. That's
It
not
is.
true.
It is. You want your column promoted. You ask for clicks for your column. And I get it. The audience understands it. The audience does it because the audience cares about you. Even if they don't care about newspapers, which very few people do at the moment.
right.
Right.
Even if they don't care about newspapers, they care about you, so they'll click on the column to support you.
Yeah, we need to clarify something. But you always use the blanket phrase "newspapers are dying," and it's true that newspaper circulation in the United States is going south. However, because of MiamiHerald.com, I'm actually more well read than I've ever been. So, by some measure, although the print journalism may be dying, digital journalism is stepping in and still giving me a platform.
Well, this is what's weird and unsustainable about the business model is the information is still valuable and everyone's stealing it from you. And you are having more and more trouble making money off of your information because others will steal it, dilute the aggregate market, and your business plan ends up being totally bogus because you're giving away all your product, all of it.
Right. And newspapers are trying to compete. I mean,
But the information's not dying. Like people still, Warren Buffett and Bezos are investing in the information. They're investing in their ability to turn that digitally into something that actually works by making it so, I think what they're trying to do is go so local that the coverage is of your area in a way that ESPN and others can't do.
Right. Yeah. And yet the irony is, it's a tough sell for. I always get in trouble with the Herald whenever I discuss internal stuff like this. But
well, then that seems like a good idea.
Well, I'm
just thundering forward. So.
I'm just saying. You mentioned a very good idea, which is localized coverage to the extreme. But yet, covering high school sports, for example, is a tough sell because not as many people are going to click on a high school football game as they are on a Dolphin or Heat game.
One of the things that I find fascinating, I mean, look, I love newspaper people. I'm interested by newspaper people, but we are not to be trusted with the business model. Like, that is not the way the newspaper mind works among executives or anybody else. You cannot allow the business model to be in the hands of people who are not futuristic and digitally creative. That makes it very hard. Anyways, how are we going to do this? How are we going to execute this terrible idea of mine?
It's a great idea. It wasn't your idea, first of all. Second of all, it's a great idea. And right now we have Myra. She has about 2 paragraphs. And she has every other sentence blacked out. So this is going to be our first audition.
All right, Greg Cote of the Miami Herald. You should click on his column at herald.com. Myra, please. It's a column about Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods.
Yep. For those who don't know, Myra is the makeup lady here who gets everybody ready for the show.
She has been for a long time. All right, Myra, go ahead and read whatever paragraphs are in front of you from Greg Cote's column.
Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson barely made the cut at the Masters, yet fans at Augusta follow them like idolaters would a fallen deity. Fans watching on TV will follow too, hoping for an unlikely vintage charge, hoping to see greatness push back against time. It is all we have in common, really. It is the root of the emotional pull of sports, the sentimental power of it.
Okay, here we go.
Well done,
yes, very, very nice touch. He is a writer, Myra, with a very good job of reading something that's well written.
That made sense, too. I think we need to black out more.
Yeah, you need to black out a little more. Let's bring in our new, how did you feel your audition went, Myra? I thought it was pretty good.
Very well,
okay,
thank
very
you.
Good.
You're doing Sports Centers today.
Excellent.
Yep. Good reader. I mean.
Wait a minute. I think the winner of this audition should, without us ever explaining it, do the Sports Centers.
Right.
That'd be great.
I think the winner of even if it's Arnaldo.
I agree. Or do a segment on the show.
I think
today.
even better if it's Arnaldo.
All right. Are we good with that? Is that what we're doing here?
I'd like to try it.
Okay.
I'd like to
It'd
try
be funny, yeah.
But let's see who's going to win the audition, though. So we put Myra on the poll at Le Batard Show.
Nobody over there wants to come over here.
Nobody. Wait a minute. Is that a choice?
What do you mean? Who?
Don't they work here?
I'm going to walk in there right now.
They don't want to come over here. They're responsible.
They
for
all
putting...
said no. No.
Wait a minute. Wait. You know what's funny about
I got
this?
this.
Hold on. They're busy. You know why? They're getting massages. They don't have time to help us on the radio show because they're busy getting massages. What kind of place are we running around here? Nobody wants to do it. Oh, there. They can't have massages.
The masseuse is here.
Genesis, that's right. The masseuse is here, and they can't have massages while Genesis. Unbelievable, these cowards. Get them out here. Line them up. Myra's the only one brave enough to read from Greg Cote's newspaper column. All right, Genesis. So Genesis is the one who makes everyone around here feel good on Tuesdays because we got an incredibly pampered life where the employees don't want to work.
You're getting massages.
They're getting massages. That is just great. It's just, we can't help you and your show. We're getting massages your show is paying for. The hell is going on in that other room? Genesis.
Good morning.
Good morning, Genesis. Please read from Greg Cote's column, right. Genesis.
Phil, about to turn 48, shot 74, and is 7 over. Both beloved icons are beyond what is irretrievable.
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 It's a tongue twister.
It's a tough one.
Their prime. We might love them even more.
Nailed it, but whatever.
For the brutality and the struggle. Different generations, different sports, and all they've had in common was the way they both went out.
Thank you, Genesis. Genesis, I know it's very last minute. Don't suffer that. You did well.
And listen to me, okay? You go tell all the people in that other room, no more massages till they get in here and read.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right. Let's find out if we'll have more readers next.
Next. You're holding up the line, ma'am.
What did you say?
You're next in line for the water slide, ma'am. Feet forward and enjoy the ride.
Okay, dearie. This does look fun. Whee-oh! You melted me. I've melted.
The Wicked Witch of the West on a water slide? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
See what you've done. Oh!
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Don Le Batard.
You really are of the impression that all of South Florida and good parts of America are huddled around their transistor radio just to hear your opinion on things, aren't you?
Yes, in Europe, too.
Stugotz.
Don't listen to anything Stugotz says.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Greg Cote of the Miami Herald is an old-timey Miami Herald sports writer, comes from a different journalistic time. And Stephen, the security guard, is here to read a portion of his column. So feel free, Stephen, to read whatever it is that's there in front of you. A Greg Cote, Herald.com column about mortality, Phil Mickelson, and Tiger Woods. The floor is yours, Stephen.
My boyhood hero, Carl Yurkonski, was wetting down his rookie season with the Boston Red Sox in 1961 when about 500 miles away in Italy, family in Pittsburgh was welcoming a baby named Daniel Constantine.
Hold on a second, Stephen. Greg Cote is a very nitpicky editor. Go ahead, Greg.
It's an Italian family.
Okay, it's all right. Well, it's just a minor thing. He skipped over the Italian, man. Why?
Italian family in Pittsburgh was welcoming baby. It named Daniel Constantine Marino.
Oh, Daniel Constantine Marino. Greg Cote going for the heartstrings with the Daniel Constantine Marino. Constantine, who Greg Cote later in life as a sports columnist for the Miami Herald advocated trading and keeping Scott Mitchell.
Correct. A column that looks better and better over time, by the way.
Keep going, Steve.
Okay. Marino, who would go on to hub of my professional life in his long career with the Dolphins.
That's it. All right.
Excellent.
Yes. All right.
I think leader in the clubhouse. All
right. So we're auditioning for reading the sports flashes, Stephen. Thank you for playing along.
Okay. Do I get to pick the winner?
Well, we're not done with.
We got more readers.
We're not done. Although I'm beginning to see why it is that some of the people in the other room don't want to do this.
No, that's not fair. I mean, we took out words and sentences. By the way, it still makes a lot of sense, which makes me think, no offense, Greg, there's a lot of fat in these articles. If we're still getting the vivid picture and cutting out half of it, I feel like that's
Wait
part
a minute,
of the
that was with stuff cut out?
Yeah. There's stuff missing there.
Oh, now
we got
now we got real Miami coming in here. Thank you, guys. I hope you nobody felt obligated to do this, right? Chino, are we putting you in a bad spot here, Chino, or you're good?
No, I'm in a bad spot right now.
You're in a bad, but here's why it's good.
Are you really?
Here's why it's good, right? Because you are Latin, we are Latin, and both you and Arnaldo, the sounds of your voices will be recognizable to all.
Yeah.
So
I won't be famous.
You'll be famous, but we are going to start with the premise. It's like how my dad does the TV show. They're doing this in their second language, okay? And Miami will recognize all of this accent from both of these guys. All right, Chino.
Let's see what you got, Chino.
Chino.
All right.
Chino, but what we are auditioning for is somebody replaces Stugotz today on the Sports Flashes. We're not going to explain it to the national audience. There's just going to be a read every 30 minutes during the show by a voice, hopefully heavily Latin.
And don't worry if it's not good because Stugotz is terrible at it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's not good. So just read a couple sentences, whatever couple of sentences from Greg Cote's column you want to read there.
All right. His last game ever was one game into the rookie season for Marino, who would play 17 years before retiring at age 38, and all broke in 38 following a playoff loss on January 15, 2000. I was in my late 20s, was too old to cry. As Jazz stepped to the plate for what would be the final time on October 2nd, 1983 at Fenway Park.
You're leading so far, Chino. Chino, you called him Yaz. Steve had a hard time with Yastrzemski. I don't know why there's a column being written in 2018 that includes Daniel Constantine Marino and Carl Yastrzemski.
This is supposed to be about Tiger Woods.
I don't even understand. No, now it's about Cote, though. Now we are full-fledged Cote's mortality and his sports memories. I remember Yaz coming to the plate. It's when I fell in love with sports.
Right, you see what's happening here, right? It's like a little tease. You give them a little, they want more. So now everyone wants to see how you tie it all together.
Yeah, I mean, to understate the obvious, reading snippets of it in the manner we're doing do not give the proper
for
context
the love of God.
for the entirety
I've got
of the
proper context for you. It's Arnaldo. Arnaldo, just a sentence or two. Again, I'm telling the people that this is in your second language. If I was trying to read something in Spanish, I would not be reading it well. I assure everybody that if I'd understand it, but I'd be reading it very poorly. So
it doesn't matter. I can read on English.
Perfect.
So,
okay.
This,
I can't write in English.
He said, one more, I remember thinking, staring at the TV alone in my apartment, tears welling. The perfect ending. Just took a mighty uppercut, the kind meant to send a baseball into the bleacher.
All right. right.
Awesome.
All right. So
Awesome.
who's it going to be? Who do we got? Put it on the poll. Wow. Arnaldo or Chino? Or maybe both of them. It might be a tie.
That's the final two you're saying?
It might be. What? Don't you? What? You guys tell me.
I thought Myra was really good.
Myra's pretty good, yep. Man, Big G's going to be tough to beat. I don't know. I think Myra should be there. I think she should be one of the three.
Yep.
At least one of the three choices, yeah.
All right. So three choices to put it on the poll at Lebatard Show. We don't have to keep bringing them in here. Thank you, Arnaldo, for your help. I appreciate you going outside of your comfort zone for us.
So Steven and Genesis have been eliminated?
I don't know. You could make it a democracy. Put them all on the poll. Let the people pick. But which way would you guys pick? I do like the idea of the thing that's funniest to me comedically is the first SportsCenter flash starting, nobody recognizing the voice, and it being drowning in Hispanic accent, like where you can't understand half the words. And I think Chino or Arnaldo can pull that off.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. Do you guys disagree?
You've always let the audience decide on stuff like this. So put them all up there and let the audience decide. I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm. Allison, do you have a nominee? Do you have you put together this entire contest? Who do you believe?
Wait a second. This is
I saw you running in and out of the room.
Because I was trying to actually produce it, but it was definitely not my baby.
Okay.
Who am I voting for? Arnaldo.
It is, yeah, or not.
I go Chino.
Roy?
Myra.
Steven.
Oh, for the love of God. Steven. For the love of God. Okay, so weirdly, we've got a tie.
We disturbed him from watching videos of himself working out.
Oh, get out of here.
Listen, Steven finished in last. I'm just going to say it.
Whoa. We're burying the lead. He's watching videos of himself working out?
No, I don't know. We never know whether it's of himself working out or of others working out.
But you need to study tape. That's how you improve your form. So whatever he's watching, you practice. When I pole vaulted, Dan, I would watch videos of myself pole vaulting to see what I got wrong. Because it's such a quick thing. So like if you're powerlifting or power cleaning or whatever it's called, I'd imagine you need to see what you're doing wrong, especially if you're working out by yourself.
Clean up your form.
Yeah.
What are the mechanics of a good pole vaulter? Do you have to lift the rear when you get over the pole?
Oh, man, what a good question.
Can you please get into the mechanics of pole vaulting? I'd actually like to hear. Yeah. I'd like to hear what the mechanics of this are.
Well, it's been a while, and I wasn't great at it, and I wasn't by any stretch of the imagination, great at form. But you want to run. You kind of, just so you know, you hold the pole about an arm length apart. As you can see here, I'm demonstrating for the radio audience. You hold the pole about an arm length apart. Your hands are kind of in opposite directions, right? You have one here, right next to your waist. Let me lift this a little bit. One next to your waist. And you want to count every other step when you're tracking your steps into running into the pit, it's called. So you run in the opposite direction, and then you mark your steps. So then you'd be running at the same pace every time. So it's kind of, some people start a little slow, and they build up. Other people sprint right away. I kind of tried to sprint right away, but I would go from a little bit closer because I was slow. So I'd run out of stamina. So I'd go from maybe 5 or 6 steps. Some people would do 7 steps. Wow. So I'd go 5 steps. And then you run. You want to have a nice, form. You sprint. When you get there to the pit, you want to be nice and tall, Stugotz and Greg. Nice and tall. And you throw I was right-handed, so I'd throw my right knee up. Arms tall, right? My right arm way above my head.
Switch hands.
I'd have my right knee L-shaped, 90-degree angle. Go into it with a stiff left arm. You go into it, you kind of swing into it, and then when you're getting upside down, you kick that right leg up. Wow. You kick it, and you do a spin.
Kicking it.
You kick it, you pull yourself up, upside down now with the kick. The kick's shooting you up a little bit. You pull up like this. My body, while I'm standing tall, right side up, I'm really upside down on the pole. Like this. I kicked it, pulling, follow through. One big arm.
Wow.
$2.
Don Lebatard.
Did you or did you not say that 90% of your laughter on this show is fake?
Yeah, I said that.
Stugotz.
Why would you even say that? What?
I got caught up in the air, to be honest with you. It was.
I don't believe your honesty.
Well, I
don't know whether you're being honest now or you were being honest then.
I mean, I've earned that over 11 years with you.
My mistrust.
Yeah, and you're right. I was lying because I fake laugh 95% of the time.
Okay.
And I feel badly about it. I do. Because I can tell you're hurt by it.
Well, we both feel badly about it, so that makes two of us.
Funny.
It's really good.
Yeah.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Greg Cote of the Miami Herald is in with us as he is every Tuesday. He's not quite ready for this segment because he's busy writing something down for some reason. What are you writing down, Greg?
I'm doing a little editing on my Back in My Day.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
When is that being unveiled? How do you feel about your Back in My Day?
It's an unusual one. It's the form is a little bit different, and I have no idea whether it's going to go over well or not.
How do you feel about the idea of unleashing it right now? Like unleashing it in the 9 o'clock hour, which is heard by podcast. Like it's going to be heard by about as many people.
What if Arnaldo reads the Back in My Day?
Oh, wow. Hey.
What about it? Huh?
Those are his pride and joy. Those are his pride and joy. Those are his words delivered by him, crafted by him.
I would read, how about this? I read the Back in My Day, but then Arnaldo reads it later in the show, perhaps. Something like that.
Well, I can tell you this, Dan. Here's what's going on here. He wants this thing like he wants it on the national show. He does not want this during the local hour. So he's fine reading it now or having someone read it now, but someone else has to read it during the national show. I'm telling you.
That's fair. I mean, I don't know the machinations of when people listen and how they.
No, I know. All you care about is your. Well, this is in keeping with something else. All you care about is when it's on your time, done your way, at your every whim.
Right. That's right.
And it brings me back. I heard you asking Allison about a video game repairman when I have given you that video. I've given you the solution to that video game for the better part of 5 bleeping years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I've given you telephone numbers, contacts. I've given you a number of different ways. I've offered to come over and fix it for you with the guy. And now you're sitting here asking Allison, can you find, because you're ashamed, because you know not to ask me again.
Yeah.
Because you've already done this to me 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, I'm going to take you up on that, though. If you and that guy could come over and fix my...
now I'm not doing it.
Why?
Now I have offered...
Are you rescinding your offer?
Yes, it's rescinded. I've offered it
what a fraud friend.
Well, now it's on me.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Right. What does... I mean, is Cody of the impression that you're his assistant?
I'm everyone's assistant. Everyone's assistant on the show. Everyone.
I made it clear. I even told Allison, look, I know you don't work for me, but Allison is a wonderful can-do person. I feel like her tentacles of knowledge extend everywhere.
Don't enable him.
Right. You enable Greg Cote and there's big trouble. I mean, then all of a sudden you are his personal assistant and you're never seeing a dime for your work.
No, just for this one thing. No, I already have a nice gift in store if the machine is fixed at a reasonable price.
Allison, has anything you've ever done for Cody gone well? You know, just like any request he's ever made for you, you know, like when he asked for tickets and I spend $400 and then he doesn't use them.
Billy Crystal tickets didn't go.
Has anything Greg Cote ever asked you worked out in a way that left you feeling good about it afterward? Because I've been dealing with this for 30 years. Oh yeah, help Greg at every turn. Oh look, none of it actually helps. He's mad at me. That's interesting. Like that's the whole. That's 30 years. 30 years. What can I do for you, Greg?
Well, once this video arcade game is fixed, I'm going to invite the entire show over for a tournament, a Ms. Pac-Man tournament. So that's the carrot at the end of the stick.
I've got one at my house 3 blocks from here. We could do it there.
Mine's better.
Yours doesn't work.
I know, but when working, it's better.
And yours it's closer to my house.
Yours is one of those fraudulent little tabletop ones. Mine is a standard classic upright.
That's big, Dan.
Yeah, mine outranks
yours. Big, yes.
In the video arcade.
You got to have the classic. No, you have to have the classic one standing upright.
Allison, put this on the poll. What's better, a sit-down Miss Pac-Man machine or a stand-up Pac-Man machine, Miss Pac-Man machine that doesn't work?
I'll tell you what.
I feel pretty strongly mine is better.
Mine's
better. In a perfect universe where both are working, I'm telling you that the table one that you have is...
I'm not even sure about that.
No, it's worse because bad sight lines, tough angles, your neck hurts, it's straining to kind of look over the table. I'm telling you. And people use it as like a table.
Yep.
They put the drinks down, it's all stained, and all of a sudden you can't see Miss Pac-Man.
100%. Bad invention.
We need to title this segment Rich People Problems.
You have an actual like video game machine in your house, like an arcade machine?
In my game room.
How many rooms of your house are just full of things? Like your wife sounds very patient with you.
She's a wonderful woman.
Greg, look, man, Greg Cote's a bit of a weirder. I don't know. Chris, best guess. If your father was left to his own devices and had never gotten married, would your father be a hoarder?
He would be he is one of the weirdest people, but he'd be so much more weird. And he is a hoarder. He's a lot of things. He's really weird.
Can we go through this?
But he's a hoarder even while married.
I know, but he'd be more of a hoarder is what I'm saying. He'd be sleeping in jugs of his own urine if his wife wasn't there to make sure that none of that stuff happened.
I'm jealous of this setup. You guys are making fun. This sounds great. You have a garage full of just garbage and old paint. You have this room full of video games. You told me last time you have a closet where things kind of that's the in-between room.
Bill's got like a trophy room, too. He brings stuff from the garage. He puts it in that special room. Remember he always tells us about that?
Yeah. My office,
There's an office, too?
Yeah, my den/office is littered with Monopoly money.
Where do you think those underwear columns get written? Where do you think that when he's writing those columns where he calls David Shula up somewhere in North Dakota, the tight ends coach?
Yeah, that was a great column, by the way.
What did we decide? Who's reading the sports flashes? Chino? Myra?
There's a poll right now. We'll see
Let me check it out. Yeah, let me check it out. It's a good loss to the Heat last night, though, by the way.
Nice fourth quarter.
Go ahead. We should be talking about the Heat. Thank you, Stugotz, for so subtly pushing me off the subject.
No problem.
Nice segue.
Arnaldo is winning right now, by the way. He's got 37% of the votes.
Okay.
Wow. It's a landslide.
Cody, what do you got for us on Heat playoffs? They're a 500 team. They are, whether their record shows it or not, they're going into the playoffs and they're a team. They're the weakest playoff team the Heat have ever had.
Yeah. The only hope for me is that if they play the Celtics or the Sixers, those two teams obviously are missing top players.
But Embiid's coming back. You don't want.
He probably is that for sure.
They've won all the games without him, but yes, he's probably coming back.
Okay, probably.
I would not want to play Philadelphia. Boston seems obvious.
Yeah.
It seems obvious. They don't. Of course, you want to play Boston. Who's Boston running offense through?
Right.
Seriously.
I mean, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I guess.
I mean, they're good young players, but they are not Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward.
I think the second team you want to play is LeBron. Quite frankly. Because Philadelphia is the hottest team in the league, and Toronto is.
Well, what do you
Toronto.
want? Let me ask you the question. What do you want? Do you want the best chance of winning, or do you want the best story? We were talking about this yesterday. Cleveland is far and away the best story.
Right.
It does not give you your best chance of winning. You're not going to beat LeBron in a 7-game series with no stars.
Would you agree that it gives you the second best chance of winning, better than Philly and Toronto?
No.
I mean, Miami's going to get up for LeBron, and I know you're not a fan of intangibles.
Everyone gets up for LeBron, Greg, and he wins it every single year. The East, not the championship.
Did they get up for last night, Greg? Did they get up for last night? They're playing for the 6th seed.
Right.
Did they get up for last night?
They did for 3 quarters.
I think they might be playing for the 7th seed. I'm serious. I'd rather have the Celtics. Listen, I'm never. We can never prove that they lose games on purpose.
They dumped the game last night. All right.
No, what I'm saying is I wouldn't blame them if they dumped the game last night.
But do you think they did?
Yes.
Man, they fell off a cliff in that fourth quarter. It does make you wonder. Complaining about the officiating instead of playing basketball.
I mean, it was. I mean, they had 39-12 in the fourth quarter.
I mean, it's what it would look like. 39-12 in the fourth quarter against the Knicks is what a dump would look like.
Now, Oklahoma City, they played last.
Oklahoma City, excuse me.
Fine.
It's Cleveland that's got the Knicks twice. My bad.
Yep.
LeBron is the best story, and I always think in terms of the best story. I'm not thinking like a fan might, but I think even most fans would probably rather play LeBron than the Celtics.
I don't know, man.
If you know your team, okay, your team's not going beyond the first round.
No, this is the thing, though. I have found fans, generally speaking, to be cowards when it comes to this stuff. They want the best chance of winning. Even though they know this Heat team can't go anywhere, they don't want the season to end.
Right.
And that overrides all. Because we saw this, we've been having this conversation down here for the better part of 7 years. When we were talking during those 2010, 2014 Heat teams, we were talking about, do you want the Sixers in the first round? Did those Heat teams ever lose a first round playoff game? Maybe one to Carmelo and the Knicks. one or two. Every series went 4 or 5. None of them were fun. And we would talk about, do you want Carmelo or the Sixers? And everybody would say the Sixers at the time, led by Andre Iguodala. Just, they were what the Heat is now, a team that nobody fears.
Right. Why wouldn't you want that, though? I mean, why wouldn't you want the easier matchup?
Because LeBron. Mm-hmm. Because because you are the center of the basketball universe for one round, as opposed to being in a first round that, A, you're not likely to get out of either way, and B, nobody's going to be interested in nationally. Nobody.
And also, if you're a Heat fan, barely below your team advancing past the first round is being able to eliminate LeBron. Those are like 1 and 1A in terms of what you most want out of the first round. So, you get both, perhaps, if it's Cleveland.
You want to go as far as you can. I mean, for me, I want to extend the season as far as I possibly can. And if there's a chance to get to the Eastern Conference semifinals by playing the Celtics, that's the path I would want. Like, you never know what's going to happen. Like, the Cavs are playing their first round series. All of a sudden, Kevin Love gets hurt. We know LeBron's never getting hurt, but all of a sudden, Kevin Love's hurt. And then the Heat have to play a team that doesn't have Kevin Love.
I still don't like their chances. You like their chances with or without? I don't like their chances.
I like their chances against the Celtics. I do.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's do it this way. Cody, what did you have? What was your reaction to those Pat Riley quotes that came out yesterday on LeBron James?
I just wonder what the motivation is, and I know the interview, I think, was done just before the season, several months ago.
Yes, it was in a book.
Yeah.
It's in a book.
Right.
Pat Riley knows Ian Thompson. Ian Thompson's going to be on with us later in the show. Ian Thompson is a long-time, I think he's a long-time New York writer. Mm-hmm. And so Pat Riley granted a rare interview, and in it he said some things that are now being released very months and months later.
Yeah, very interesting comments, and it makes you wonder. I mean, why is Riley saying that now? Why is he mending his fence? It's interesting that LeBron is coming into free agency this summer. Does Riley actually think Miami's got a chance to get him back?
He has to put himself in a position for that. He has to try. Whatever. This is one of the things I find fascinating about these control freaks and how little control they actually have. The only control Pat Riley has right now of anything LeBron James related is trying to mend that fence. There is nothing else he can do.
And it's a hell of an olive branch, because if you hear Pat Riley saying that, and you're a Heat fan, you have less cause to hold any grudge or any animus against LeBron, because you're thinking to yourself, wow, the Godfather thinks that he made the right move and is forgiving him, so should we.
Yeah, but he has different motivations.
Greg,
than fans,
wait a minute.
Greg.
He doesn't view the Godfather the way you view the Godfather. Like, he's not sitting there taking that as that.
No, fans would think that.
But what about him?
I think it's if he thinks it's sincere, then I think it's meaningful to him. Why wouldn't he want Riley to,
because
in effect,
I don't
apologize?
think he cares anymore about what Phil Jackson and Pat Riley think about things. I feel like he's like, no, that was their time. That was their time. My time now.
Right. I mean, he made Riley wait a couple hours at a blackjack table just to have a meeting with him after being his boss for 4 years.
Right.
He doesn't care.
But does
he's the boss, Greg.
Yeah,
he's the boss.
Right. But another thing that came out of the Ian Thompson book is that in 2010, which I think it came out at the time, LeBron sort of approached Riley about possibly, hey, you want to coach again? Replacing Spo. And so there's a respect there. I mean, if I ask you, does LeBron James respect Pat Riley? I think the answer is yes, unequivocally.
I had not seen the SportsCenter commercial for Aaron Judge. I just saw it for the first time now. I didn't even hear the commercial, so I don't know what the words are. But I don't think there is anything, not game coverage, not 30 for 30s, maybe just the OJ documentary, that ESPN does better than their commercials. Because Aaron Judge was in full uniform jogging on a treadmill next to Scott Van Pelt, and was that L. Duncan next to him? So two SportsCenter anchors are jogging on treadmills, and you see that Aaron Judge is moving slower than they are. And so then he gets off of the treadmill and just sort of goes to the gym and slaps 5, and the last thing you see on the camera is the treadmill's graphics and face, and it just says home run trot. He was on that he had just left the treadmill on a home run trot speed.
I've seen it. It's great. Their commercials are fantastic. There's another one where, like the cliche, typical one you do with Aaron Judge, where he walks into a boardroom and everyone rises, and it says they had a good time with Aaron Judge. They did like 2 or 3 commercials. They're all funny.
How many takes do you think that was, like that home run trot one? Because I was looking at the mascot in the back that was dressed like a Lobo or whatever on an elliptical, and I'm like, man, this person must hate their life because they're there for 2 hours dressed as a mascot on the elliptical.
Acting, my guess is that pays pretty well. Acting can be tough for anybody. Brockmeyer was telling me some stories yesterday. He's done some stuff with the Mets and Yankees, and this isn't going to surprise you, Stugotz. Your pitching staff was a bit humorless about Brockmeyer. Like, he's interviewing them, and they're not really understanding it. And Syndergaard at one point, I think, wanted to punch him in the face.
Really?
Yeah.
Great.
Wow. I mean, Thor hit him with a hammer.
But you realize that Azaria's got a chance to make that character blossom into like an Ali G type of
absolutely
of thing, where this drug addicted, drinking, old timey baseball broadcaster is making his way into new millennials like Noah Syndergaard and trying to do the old timey baseball interview as this guy with the flowing hair and the 100 miles an hour fastball. And he's like, right? He's the Playboy of New York too,
Yes.
right?
Oh, Thor? Yeah, absolutely.
The idea that Hank Azaria could come through on the back end of his career and just undermine these young people who don't know who he is or what he's doing, to get mad at the Brockmeyer character.
It's the perfect guy, Thor, to go after, Syndergaard, because he's young, he's a millennial, he has a lot of fun. He's got a great sense of humor, doesn't take himself seriously, but I can see how that would annoy him to no end.
Well, but it's such a funny thing to throw. It's such a funny grenade to throw in the middle of the construct. Cody can speak to this. These baseball players, they have their job, and it's sort of the regimen of doing interviews. And it's not unlike Nuke Lelouch in Field of Dreams, or not Field of Dreams, Bull Durham.
Good save.
Where he's just giving you cliches. Mm-hmm. So Noah Syndergaard, by the grading of the curve of media personality, he's loose and carefree. But he knows at all times he's being interviewed. And so he knows at all times what the image is he's representing on television. If you care at all about that, you're going to lose to the professional comedian Brockmeyer. Right? You can't care about that. You have to actually be carefree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brockmeyer's character, to me, is so brilliant because it walks that fine line. If you're an athlete being interviewed by him and you don't know who the actor is, you don't know if he's an actor or if you're thinking, God, is this guy for real? He might be for real. Is he? You know, it's that in between that's just fascinating to me.
Sure, it went over well with Matt Harvey.
Imagine.
Guy's a real ball of joy. Bundle of laughs.
What were you calling him the other day? Didn't you have a funny
fake ace?
No, it was a dark night. Wasn't there? There were some Dark Knight jokes you were making the other day.
It wasn't. No, I got his nickname wrong. I think I called him something else that I don't want to repeat.
Off the air, you called him that?
I think it was on air.
What the hell are we going to talk about today?
I got plenty.
Okay.
I got the top 50 drinks in America.